Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the greatest recordings ever. And today we are talking about the complete Dvořák piano trios with the Suk Trio. Now, this set, which was recorded in the 70s, was also done in digital, and the digital set was issued on Denon. I have both of them, of course, but this was the analog series, and some people may well prefer analog sonics anyway, and it's gorgeously recorded. The Suk Trio consists of Jan Panenka, Josef Suk, and Josef Chutro, cello. Jan Panenka is the cellist, and they are wonderful. One of the great piano trios ever in the history of the universe, along with the Beaux-Arts and some other ensembles. They didn't get as much attention because, well, they did less recording, and second of all, they were in Czechoslovakia. They were stuck in communist Czechoslovakia, so their recordings were largely for Supraphon. And I accidentally said that the Suk Trio was the trio behind the Brahms trios, which featured in a recent video as well, in the greatest recordings ever, with Janos Starker and Julius Ketchen on Decca. Well, this is Supraphon with the all-Czech crew, and they're just as good. I mean, who are we kidding? They're fantastic. Now, the Dvořák trios are, along with the Brahms trios, the great piano trios of the second half of the 19th century. There's nothing that compares to them. Really nothing. And Dvořák wrote four. I think he wrote more than anybody else in the second half of the 19th century, that is, as a major composer. And they really are exceptional. And nobody knows the first two of them. And the reason nobody knows the first two of them, which are major works, they're big works. One is Opus 21, one is Opus 26, from 1875 and 76, respectively, is because the last two are so outstanding that they've kind of blown away the earlier two. But the earlier two are not worse. They really aren't. They are full of good music and very confidently written. Now, number 3 is the trio at F minor. And the trio at F minor is probably the greatest piano trio written after, like, Beethoven's and Schubert's. It is, and maybe Mendelssohn's first. It is just an incredible piece of music. I mean, thrilling and passionate and gripping and full of unbelievably gorgeous tunes. And it's the kind of work that you really should listen to if you have questions about whether you can handle chamber music, because it's sort of an egghead, culturally snobby, specialized kind of thing. No. Not the trio in F minor. The trio in F minor is just staggeringly great. And unfortunately, it eclipsed the first and second trios, which are, quite frankly, but if they had, been by any other composer, that composer would have been acclaimed a forgotten genius. I mean, because they're really, really terrific. Dvořák, we tend to forget, and I can't say this frequently or often or firmly enough. Dvořák was a great composer from the very beginning. Not everything that he did was fabulous. He said himself, before he passed away, he told Sibelius, actually, they had a conversation, and he said to Sibelius, I wrote too much music. I really did. I just wrote too much music. But he was trying to give his country, Czechoslovakia, its own repertoire, and to prove that they could write music that was as great as the greatest classics. And he did that, and he was doing it from the very, very start. And these two trios are some of his best early chamber works. So that's that. But the third trio is so great and so powerful that it really stands almost all by itself on a pedestal. It's that amazing. And then his last trio is just as amazing, but in a totally different way. And that's the Dumky. The Dumky trio, which consists of 6 Dumky. A Dumky is plural of Dumka. Dumka is a dance, a Ukrainian dance, actually, originally, that alternates with almost heart-on-sleeve, melodramatic, sobbing, slow, lamenting music, immediately followed by its schizophrenic opposite, giddy, bouncy, zippy, dancey music. And these things alternate, and, however much the composer wants them to alternate. And that's what this trio consists of, 6 of those suckers, which he has grouped in various ways to make sort of larger forms. there's nothing like it in the entire chamber music repertoire. It immediately became popular because, everybody thought, well, there's nothing like it in the chamber music repertoire. It is so catchy and full of incredible color. If you think that a piano trio, because there's just a violin, a cello, and a piano, has limited color, limited expressive means, you've got to hear the Donkey Trio. It's one of the most colorful pieces of chamber music in the repertoire, and it is absolutely amazing, but in a totally different way. And that's what's so cool about Dvořák, because he balances, on the one hand, his classical nature, which is, anything Beethoven and Brahms and those people I can do. Anything they can do, I can do better, except maybe in a more Slavonic way. Anything they can do. No, never mind. And then he has the Czech nationalist side, where he's creating entirely original works full of, Czech melody and rhythm and whatnot, and sort of reshaping the classical forms to meet his own needs, and not worrying about whether they follow the rules of sonata form and all of that stuff. It's really quite unbelievable. And the two early trios, which were totally neglected, and even the trio in F minor, didn't get a lot of play for a very long time. When people thought of Dvořák's chamber music, everyone said, oh, the Donkey Trio, because it was like the New World Symphony. It became so popular in its medium that it sort of obliterated everything else. So when sets like these came out, this was only in the 70s, they were really sensational. And they created quite a wave, and deservedly so. We didn't know these works. We really didn't. Connoisseurs did, and, some people did, but the record collecting universe in general just didn't know this music. And it was such an amazing discovery. And so you're not going to get performances that are better than these. They are as idiomatic and spontaneous and musicianly and brilliant as anybody could ask. Wonderfully recorded, and the music itself is just to die for. So we've talked about the Brahms trios in this Greatest Recordings Ever series, and since I pulled this out accidentally in that talk, I said, for heaven's sake, we have to do this, don't we? We really do. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.